Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda Cities ABC interview series. We are a fast-growing YouTube podcast and thought leadership channel focused on profiling the global leading inspiring people, CEOs and C-level, authors, founders, technologists, academy people, and the global experts changing and creating solutions for our world. We highlight the ideas, the products, the platforms, the inventions, the software, the books, and solutions to the multiple challenges and opportunities that we face in our cities and nations with the advent of Society 5.0, digital transformation, fourth industrial revolution, AI, blockchain, Fintech, IoT, and all the emergent technologies that are transforming our world. This podcast series is produced and distributed by our platform citiesabc.com, a wiki 4AR platform for cities and for all of us citizens, and openbusinesscouncil.org. That is a wiki directory for businesses and business professionals. And it's syndicated on the websites Intelligent HQ, Traders DNA, edgefink.com, and as well syndicated through the major podcasts around the world. So today we have someone that I know for some time, mostly from a digital world. So we have, and I welcome Xavier Gomez, using probably the Spanish a bit accent, but based in Paris, where he's connecting with us. So Xavier Gomez is a Fintech global top thought leader and specialist in WealthTech. He's a Fintech speaker and a writer, and regularly writes about the future of banking, Fintech, and emerging technologies, and as well in the areas of finance and trading in particular. He is as well the founder and COO of INVYO, a software as a service company that uses machine learning and natural language processing to help financial institutions see tomorrow's opportunities in fintech and trading and investment. As a banker, Xavier has been sharing his vision of the sector with industry pioneers over the last 18 years. And in 2000, he started his career at Credit Suisse as a portfolio management consultant. And then he's been as well working with Zurich, Switzerland, and as well he was assistant vice president in charge investment consulting in Paris, and as well as has been in the past vice president in charge of investment consulting. So he has a fantastic background in trading and investment in some of the leading companies in technology and finance, especially in the financial industry, and as well he's quite well known as an influencer that has been in a lot of rankings in finance, technology, but all these areas of digital economy and digital transformation. And as well, he also serves as a mentor advisor in Fintech Labs and HEC, the French leading business school in the incubator, stand up to establish digital strategy, business plan, and financial statements. So I welcome to our podcast. I could read a bit more, but I think that's enough for a start, and actually quite impressive background. So welcome here. Javier, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Welcome, Dinis. A nice pleasure for me to be here.
So Javier, I want to start with a bit, I always do this, a bit of, first of all, how do you define yourself, and as well a bit of background. So the career trajectory that brought you here, some of your education, and as well, what made you be who you are right now as well, which you are a global personality in this world of finance and technology in particular.
Yeah, thank you, Dinis, to invite me to share insights with you. I'm typical banker, as you know, international banker. As you mentioned during my biography, I spent a lot of time in Credit Suisse and Pictet. I am background of investment banker and wealth management department. And since the beginning, I wanted to work in finance because I like the figures and I like also the futures. And during many years, I worked on different top management positions inside Credit Suisse and Pictet, between London, Paris, Zurich, and Geneva. And I can say I know very well the finance sector. And the different challenge for for banks and insurance companies, because as you know, the last 10 years it was very challenging in terms of regulation. In my position, I should put a lot of implementation of this regulation in day-to-day business. It was difficult. And at this period, I discovered the interest of innovation and digital transformation, because all this transformation happened without any change inside a banking sector. And I saw the opportunities. This is the reason why I manage a lot of digital transformation projects on my different business unit. And after I tried to sharpen my skills on that, and I went to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in order to make an executive program dedicated to the fintech, because I would like to understand the future of the finance. And the right place was in the United States, and I applied to HEC Paris, the famous business school in the private equity, because I strongly believe to the entrepreneurship and the new financing of the entrepreneurship via the private equity. And it is a very challenging and fascinating period for me, because I decided to left a comfortable position of banker, very well paid, recognized, in order to build my own business on the data. And the data is the new oil, as you know, is a big part of the digital transformation today. And now I developed this company with my partner on the financial services, because this is a sector we very well known before, to diversify the application of the data and algorithm we made for finance companies.
Let's say in the last 15 years, that has been more or less your career. The financial industry has been going through massive revolution, especially in capital markets, which is probably the most advanced part in terms of technology in the financial industry at large. How do you see these transformations that you saw, let's say, in the last decades that you've been working in the industry, and as well some of the highlights that you found it? Because of course, I'm sure that when we started the industry was very different than it is now, and I'm sure as well that there is all this trajectory as well, working in big trading units, and some of the biggest investment banks in the world, and as well right now being in a startup or in a company that is private and is looking at doing very cutting edge innovation. So how do you see all this trajectory?
Yeah, very good question, Dinis. As you mentioned, 10, 15 years ago, it was completely different. And I see the innovation coming in trading floor via a new guys, some data analysts, data scientists. They know very well coding in Python or in R in order to make a very nice software to earn more money in high frequency trading for different products, equity, fixed income, and others. And it was not a trader, it was not a tech guys, it was quant people. It was very strange at the beginning to create a team spirit, because the mood and the mindset was completely different, but very interesting. And year after year, we see the importance of machine learning, data science on my job, and in terms of development. This is the reason why the tech guys take so much important things. And I think now it's a clear, this kind of profile will replace the former position of trader, because now in trading floor, you can see you have more quant than trader. And it's funny because all the system are automatic. Only when you have a problem, the quant interact in order to program and recalculate the algo. So it's completely a game changer in terms of job or bots and software robot replace people, but create a new job of tech and quant in order to monitor the system. And I think with this COVID period, in each sector, not only in finance, we will see the acceleration of this digital transformation in order to earn in terms of efficiency, profitability, and also quality of life, because some boring job has been made by a good professional. They waste their time to make that, and now robot and software can do this boring job better than human, and very good professional people can focus on their real added value. And for me, it's clearly a game changer. You can use the technology for the better now.
That's important, and I think it's really a big thing going on that level. So on that level, I want to touch one area that is interesting that you have in your career and profile, is that you have both the financial footprint and of course pedigree, but you have as well an academic and as well right now an entrepreneurial part. So this is 3 levels, and digital. So you have actually multiple levels of expertise that are quite unique, because a lot of people, especially in roles like yours, are not digital savvy, and you're probably one of the few. I'm talking digital savvy, like you said, everyone is using digital and everyone is using algorithms, but one thing is using algorithms, the other thing is using tools of social media to look at trading sentiment and things like that, but as well being one of the players as well. So you have been building that as well. So how do you see this academic, digital, financial knowledge? Because you need to have financial knowledge. Even if you are automating this, not everyone can actually be on these things, and the machines have to be commanded by someone. So how do you see this area, especially the bridge between the scientific academic area, the financial part, and the digital part?
Yes, of course. In fact, this is one element very important for me. It's to know what you're talking about. What does it mean? You need a very strong academic in order to know how it works. I give you an example with neobank at the moment, Fintech neobank. Usually when you see the background of some companies, these fintech companies, they don't have a background of banker, and it's good because they focus on customer experience and so on. That's very good. But at the end of the day, when this big company will be bigger than a real bank, at the end, they will do the job of the bank. And they have to know what is the purpose of a bank: deposit and lending, credit, and so on. If you don't know that, you should be in trouble. And you see now on a new trend on the big neobank with the new nomination, for example, for Revolut, in the top management Revolut, they took old folks of the bank in order to structure the company, because now we have a serious goals to reach. And it's very important to know the academic, the base, and in order to know what you're talking about, to make the great job. And now you have the innovation part, the future of the job, of the finance, of the banking, as you like. And we have to learn that. It was one of my big challenge when I decided to go to the best school in the world, MIT and HEC, in order to review the business model, to sharpen my skill in innovation, design thinking, a little bit in coding, to understand what will be the future of my job. How can I improve it in terms of customer experience, and leverage clearly on technology. And for that, you have to work and link academy, professional experience, and as you mentioned, influencing, in order to share inside and give some message to the world and the ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think this is probably, I think the biggest challenge we're facing right now is that not everyone managed to make the bridge between all these different areas. And I think the only ones that make these bridges will survive and thrive, especially with everything happening in the world. So you are the founder of INVYO and the Chief Operating Officer. And as well, from what I understood, you've been as well the co-chief editor of the Tech Folios, that is a global fintech intelligence by INVYO. So can you tell us about these initiatives that you've been founding and as well managing?
Yeah, Tech Folios changed the name. We changed the name for INVYO Insights. Okay. In fact, before left Credit Suisse with former colleagues and now my co-founder, we decided to create a blog, the ex-Tech Folios, now INVYO Insight, in order to share some ideas and trend with a community about the payment, about blockchain applicable to the finance, about the development of fintech in Africa, in Europe, in Latin America, to accumulate a knowledge, and to see what happened exactly. Fintech is a good trend, it's a bad trend, how it works exactly. It was the first step, create this blog, and by chance we build a very good community of 45,000 followers on this website, and when we get some feedback, we decided to create analytics, INVYO Analytics, and in order to democratize the data to financial services, because data was too complex for the non-specialist, and the idea of INVYO, it's democratize this data when you are C-level, when you are a financial marketing specialist, when you are head of strategy, and so on. And in fact, we provide dedicated data with the support of machine learning and natural language processing, in order to give a call to action for the top management. They have a trend, and with this information, with data, they can decide to take a strategic decision, resource and budget, in order to digitalize the company, to transform the company, or to innovate. And the power of INVYO, it's leverage the power of data contextualization by using advanced technology to process and classify millions of unstructured data coming from video and text documents. And our tools are being used by leading companies across various divisions, such as sales, marketing teams, innovation departments, as mentioned, consulting firms, VC companies, banks, and insurance company. It was a very surprise for me, because with our value proposition, we succeed to reach a top management, because now it's clearly strategic. And now I have a clear view what is the strengths and the weakness of the finance sector, of retail banking or insurance company. Because at the moment we are clearly in transition, and all top management are a pain, problematic, and some needs to tackle. And we try to help them every day with our service, our SaaS service.
Very, very exciting, and I think really key. And congratulations with that work, because it's not an easy task, especially if you are outside of the scope. So I want to go from part of that work that you're doing. So can you tell us and how you see the present context of the present and future of fintech at large, and wealth tech, and as well all the capital management and capital markets landscape? So what would be like the main trends? And you touched some of the things, but at large, and it's one of the things you've been researching, and I think the insights is as well reflecting on that. But if you could tell us, for our audience, what are the things that you highlight more?
Yeah, what I see, it's concentration of different financial institutions, clearly, because the competition is very difficult, and on this market, the new entry of big tech from USA with FANG, Facebook, Alibaba, Amazon, and Google, and also the bats with Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, Xiaomi. They clearly come into on this sector, and they attack the finance sector with the payment. And it's challenging for the bank, because for the moment they have a client, more or less with old-fashioned IT infrastructure, but in front of them they have customer experience, innovation, and open banking system with a few for a less expensive services. It's a big challenge for the bank. This is the reason why I strongly believe one day in coming years you will see a merger of some of them, in order to be stronger, to face to the big tech, clearly. And for the capital market, we will see the disappear of big speculation with prop trading, because when you see the rules and new regulation with Basel III, it's a little bit challenging now to have a lot of funds dedicated only for this kind of activities. This is the reason why I see a strong automatization of capital market business at the beginning. When we see now on equity side, I see a lot of projects also in fixed income side, in order to automatize the trading, the clearing, with and without blockchain, but clearly reduce the cost of structure, and in order to improve margin. But for that, they need a lot of investment. And this is the question mark. If all the bank will have enough capital to invest on this big transformation, and you can see now some big European bank give up some business unit and some business because it's too expensive for them today.
Completely, and I think that you've made the very good points from open banking to all the different areas of capital markets. A lot of things are happening, and I think we're going to see more and more disruption coming, especially as artificial intelligence and machine learning become more powerful, and as well as we start getting more data, because a lot of data, capital markets are driven by data and by information about the markets, about the economy, and so forth. And of course, as we get more advanced capacity in terms of special machine learning, and as well all the areas of AI, we're going to be seeing a lot of different things. So how do you see in particular, I know that in INVYO you've been using machine learning and natural language processing to help financial institutions see tomorrow opportunities. So can you tell us a bit about how do you work with machine learning and the deep learning to understand well, for people to understand some of your offerings and some case studies that you might have over there?
We provide tools in order to invest well, for example, for private equity firms, to find the right company to invest in early or late stage, with the own criteria of the company, of the VC firms. It's simple because we have three main sources of data: the open web, the free web, or we scrap different information on different websites, consulting firms dedicated to finance, newspaper, blog. This is the first source of data. The second source of data is the private database, such as Refinitiv, Reuters, Bloomberg, Data Room, Crunchbase, PitchBook. The client pay for that. They have already a subscription, and we connect with API in our system to them. And now we have a lot of requests about that. Some big clients, bank and insurance company, realize they create every day a lot of data, and they don't know how to manage it and how to use it to make a better business, or to have a trend on their business. And we connect to their data also. So we have three main sources of data come to a SaaS platform of INVYO, and it depends of the request of the client. The client can focus on investment, financial marketing, trading, or ESG, and we provide a dashboard with all the elements, with different keywords, in particular in hashtag. They look for the information on website, as they can make automatic mapping in order for you to see what is the ecosystem of the one sector, or the ecosystem of one company, in terms of investor, in terms of competitors, in terms of key people, and the client can drag and drops on PPT mapping, because sometimes the consulting firms has a lot of requests on that, as they spend so much time to look for the information on the Google, and after to make a real mapping. We can make this mapping in a few minutes with INVYO, because we are connected to open web to have the right information. What else? We use also sentiment analysis in order to qualify an article or document or video, if they talk positively or negatively of the company or a subsector. It's very important for head of business unit know the trend. You have also a social listening features. We are connected on different social media, in particular Twitter for finance is very powerful to see what happened exactly in terms of traction, engagement, positive and negative attitude, and we provide this information simply. They can download to make a presentation to steering committee or download the data for their tech guys or data guys in order to recalculate, to work on that. Yeah, we have a different application on the finance sector today, and tomorrow on different other sector. We have some clients that they request to us to work for gaming or retail sector, to apply the same technology to other sector today.
Yeah, that's impressive, and I think it's. I'm sure you're going to have more and more demand as technology evolves, and as well, especially most of the companies move completely to this. So the same goes to. So we've been working the bridge between fintech, wealth tech, and all the area of machine learning applied for trading and investment, and as well portfolio management. Is there any case studies in particular, especially in the area of wealth tech, that I know that is a fast-growing area, and as well, a lot of studies talk more and more that wealth tech will be probably the most disruptive part of the science, that people have their portfolio management, and as well, we didn't touch that, but I would like to see as well, how do you see the crypto part and the Bitcoin trading or the crypto trading, because it's a big thing, and especially right now that a lot of big corporations, like the case of Jack Dorsey, on these companies, they're starting to have savings in crypto and in Bitcoin in particular. So how do you see this evolution from wealth tech to crypto and to all these different assets that you have increasingly?
This is a very interesting question, Dinis, in particular at the moment when the Bitcoin come back. Clearly, in terms of wealth tech, we have a use case, very simple use case. Some bank used our tool in order for a portfolio manager to be augmented. What does it mean? It means generate more alpha in terms of performance, and for that they need the right information and analyze 1 million of data. And as you know, the human professional has been a little bit limited to digest all of this information. This is the reason why we implement the investment policy of the portfolio management, because each company has a different investment policy, and some features, as I mentioned, social listening and also sentiment analysis, in order to help him to take the right decision of investment and disinvestment. To give some signal to buy or sell, or to be neutral. But at the end of the day, the final decision will be a human decision. We provide the qualified data in order for the portfolio manager to take the right decision. In wealth management, also, we have another use case in order to support the relationship manager, the inter-relationship manager, when they want to cap ultra high net worth individuals client. It's a tough job, in particular at the moment, and they need to know exactly what is the bio of the prospect. Okay, you can check on Google, but it's more interesting to connect on a private database to have whole the landscape of the company, of personnel companies of the client, to know what is already bought in terms of enterprise, in terms of portfolio, to have a deep knowledge of the client. Why? Because when you are front of this kind of ultra high net worth client, you know sometimes better than him what he's doing in the past and what is the kind of client he can be. And sometimes it's very impressive for some prospect to have a relationship manager. They know better than him the qualified information. And it's a leverage for relationship manager for a day-to-day business, clearly.
Moving to the point of your work, and of course I have a lot of questions about crypto and trading, but probably I'll leave that for another one. I don't know if you want to just touch the crypto part.
Sorry. And it's very interesting about the crypto and the relation with wealth management. If you remember, Dinis, few years ago, a lot of criticize about crypto when in asset allocation of a big client is a scam, blah, 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 blah. If you remember what said Jimmy Diamond. And now, what do you see, in particular in Switzerland, in Zug, in the crypto valley? You see a small private bank propose to the client to put 5 or 10% of asset allocation in Bitcoin.
Yes.
What's happened?
Yeah, that's a massive. Just if you would talk 5 years ago, people would say that you're crazy.
What happened? You have a small private banking, and now you have a little bigger private banking. I don't say any name. Now they put a dedicated team in terms of asset services, in terms of proposition of allocation. They create also a small division in terms of research of crypto in order to provide a news digest on that. And again, what happened? Why is this change now? And the funny things now, it's a big company, PayPal, Visa, Vanguard. Every this big company now want to integrate a cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin. As you mentioned, Jack Dorsey was a very leader on that, not on Twitter, but in particular with Square and the other competitor of the industry. Everybody wake up now, realize the efficiency of some crypto. I'm not sure all the crypto will succeed, but we can see a real trend of attractivity. We'll see what happened exactly, but a lot of ultra net worth individuals now request to have some cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin, on the asset allocation. It's a little bit new for bankers, in particular private bankers, but they have to answer to the request of this big client before to be Main Street. But this is a trend, clearly.
Yeah, that's a big thing right now. As well, it would be surreal just a couple of years, not even 5, probably 3 years ago. A lot of you could not even mention crypto if we go to banking. So,
and sorry to interrupt you to complete, and we'll add, you will see the coming also of the blockchain in the next 3 or 5 years. Because when you know them better than me, we see a lot of successful tests on different bank between each bank, and some bank plan to create their own crypto in order to pay service between each other.
It's going to be it's already becoming mainstream, but it's kind of surreal just looking at these things. Very well. So I have 2 last questions, and we'll wrap up with 1 hour. But I think the last one is, so you're becoming, or been the last years, becoming a growing name as a thought leader and influencer in fintech and emerging technologies related, especially in finance. Can you tell us about that? I know that it's, as you mentioned, in private, it's something that happened by accident, but you are right now an established name in the industry. And I think it's something that is quite interesting as well, because influencers are becoming drivers of trends, especially in technology. And influencers are more important right now than actually brands sometimes. An influencer can make or break, especially in some areas of industries like fashion or even technology. Even, for instance, the influences of, let's say, related with mobile phones, with trends, and even cloud computing and all these things. But in finance, it's particularly different, because in the past we have the analysts, and the analysts, of course, are key. But now we have influencers that are a bit the new analysts. But I would like to hear your views. How do you create that name for yourself, and as well a bit about that work that you've been doing in thought leadership and influencing?
Yeah, it was a little bit strange for me because a long time ago I created my some social media account on Twitter, on LinkedIn, without use it clearly, and I decided to share some ideas, and by chance I see a lot of interest, a lot of requests to be precise, to provide more. But it's a little bit new because, as you mentioned, I'm banker, and I learn what is influencer, and people, companies, some even governments request my opinion. If you told me a few years ago I would be so successful on that, I didn't believe you. But now this is the case, and clearly, what how I see the job, the position of influencer, is to share insight to the people they want to learn, discuss and debate of challenge of our society about finance and technology, and to give the way clearly, and if possible, the right way in terms of direction. Sometimes it's not simple because we are whole different, but I see the small global group we are, and you are part of that. We are not too bad for the moment in terms of prediction on different areas: Bitcoin, blockchain, regulation, digitalization of the industry. We are few people. We know what we're talking about clearly, and this is the reason why some big company came to us for advice and opinion. And yeah, for me, it's to help and support the audience to understand the new world, because as we mentioned in private, now the challenge is to prepare the population to this transition. It's an ecological transition, it's a finance transition, it's a society transition. It should be difficult if you don't sharpen your skills to have the good job, to understand all this change. It should be very challenging to face on all this change clearly. And I think it's a job of influencer to enlighten and help people on that.
Yeah, it's a very important thing, and I like that you put it that way, because it's and that is my last question actually. That is precisely the importance of it. ESG and all the sustainable finance and sustainable investment, which is key, because like at the moment there's a new trend that companies don't have a portfolio with bad players or companies that are hurting the economy or hurting the world, because it backfires in a lot of ways. But I know that you're very focused as well on social impact and in conscious trading or conscious finance, which is another trend right now. So can you tell us about, especially with COVID-19, what ways do you envision to redesign our society, and how do you see this part of a more conscious, ethical finance and trading world, and the ESG in particular?
I am shared, as we said in French. I don't know if we say the same thing in English. I will give you the positive side. I think COVID-19 is a great opportunity to accelerate the trend. Clearly, to change and digitize the societies for the better, and to allocate the right resource and budget on the change for the better of the society. And meanwhile, I realized a long time ago, and I'm sure you will agree with me, this is the reason why influencers exist. A big part of the population are not ready for this change because they don't receive the education on that. This is the reason why they're afraid of the situation. They are against. Look at the different movement in Europe about 5G. They are against the 5G. Then 20 years ago, all the people was against a smartphone. But at the end of the day, we didn't get a problem with smartphone. It will be the same with a 3G, a 4G, and now with a 5G. People are against because they don't know about that. They believe on fake news and so on some technology, and clearly because they are afraid of the situation. And I think the role of politicians, some key people in our industry, it's to educate and sharpen the skills of people in order for them to find the place of the society, and also to find to define a new job, because as you know, we will see a lot of creation of new job in coming years, and it's very important for them to know what will happen, to change and to preserve the life and their revenue also. And I think in Europe it's a big deal at the moment.
Yeah, that's a great way to conclude, and as well a lot of insights. Of course, I could go for a couple more hours, but I'll leave that probably for a second one. So I want to thank you, Javier. I know just if you want to highlight some links, and we'll put that, of course, in the interview, and your digital presence. I know that you have a couple of different places, just for the audience that is listening to us.
If you want to know exactly what INVYO are doing, you can go to INVYO, INVYO.io. This is a website. You can go also to INVYO Insights to have news about finance technology around the world, in particular Africa, LATAM, and Europe. INVYO Insight. And yes, and if you like, I recommend also to follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. My Twitter ID is at xbond49. So thank you very much, Dinis, for the opportunity to share some insight with you.
Oh, fantastic insights, and I like the concise precision that you have. Of course, I have a lot of things in terms of trading and investment. I'll leave that for a second one. I appreciate your time. It's been really a pleasure to be here and an honor. Thank you so much, Javier.
Thank you so much, Dinis. It was a great honor for me to be invited by you, and it will be a second opportunity to dedicate another interview for capital market, for example.
Yes, definitely. A lot of questions on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.